Yoki is just another unlucky guy who dies in a boring traffic accident and wakes up in a fantasy world as a demon. But instead of becoming a cool overlord, he ends up as a castle employee with zero career goals. Then, a hero's party storms in, and this so-called scary general forgets his job the second he sees the priestess Cecilia. One look at a cute girl, and the mighty demon turns into a full-time simp. It all begins in an alternate world that is threatened by the Demon King and his generals. A small group known as the Heroes Party decides to challenge that darkness, believing they are the only ones able to end the threat. Yuga, the leader, looks at his companions and asks one last time if they are truly prepared, because once they step forward, there will be no path back. Each of them answers without hesitation that they are ready to risk their lives. The mage assures Yuga that she has studied every general who serves the Demon King, and that victory is possible if they follow the plan she has created. Encouraged by her confidence, the party approaches the castle and prepares for what they believe will be the final battle. The moment they cross the main doors, their hope is shaken, because the first enemy waiting for them is Yoki, captain of the demon generals. He says he has expected their arrival and warns that anyone who wishes to touch the Demon King must first defeat him. The mage refuses to listen to more of his words and hurls a fireball at his face, but Yoki brushes it aside as though it is nothing. He mocks their strength, saying even the simplest defensive spell can block their magic. The tank rushes forward and swings his blade, yet Yoki avoids every strike with ease before answering with a single kick that sends the warrior flying across the hall. Cecilia, the party's priestess, quickly casts reinforcement magic on Yuga so he can unleash the power of Excalibur, the legendary sword. Yuga pours all his strength into the attack, but Yoki does not even step aside. He releases his own dark technique, and the two powers collide until the hero's light is swallowed by shadow. A wave of energy crashes over the party and leaves them unconscious on the stone floor. While Yoki inspects the fallen heroes to decide their fate, his gaze lingers on Cecilia, and he realizes she matches his idea of beauty. His thoughts are interrupted when his generals arrive and ask whether they should end the intruders for good. Duke the Dullahan, the headless knight, urges him to finish the job, and Happiness the harpy wonders why he keeps staring at the priestess. Yoki avoids the question and says killing them would be pointless. Instead, he orders the generals to carry the heroes outside the castle and leave them near a nearby village. The generals obey, though Happiness warns that showing mercy may anger the Demon King. Yoki pretends not to worry, yet before Cecilia is taken away, he silently bids her farewell. A month passes, and the heroes return again and again to attack the castle, but each attempt ends the same way, with Yoki defeating them and throwing them out alive. One day, the Demon King summons him to the throne room, where the minister mocks Yoki for failing to kill such weak opponents. Laughter spreads through the court, while Yoki keeps his head lowered and answers nothing. The Demon King then declares that if the heroes leave the castle alive one more time, the task will be handed to Yoki's subordinates instead. The threat troubles Yoki deeply because he knows his juniors cannot survive a battle with the heroes. He promises the Demon King that the next time the party enters the castle, they will not live to see another dawn. Later, alone in his quarters, he lies on his bed and wrestles with the decision he must make. He understands that the heroes possess enough power to defeat even the Demon King himself, and only his overwhelming abilities have kept them from victory. Still, he cannot allow them to face his subordinates, and he realizes the next encounter must end differently from all the others. A couple of weeks pass before the heroes' party enters the castle once again, and this time, Yoki decides the battle must end for good. He tells Yuga that the party should learn from its mistakes instead of returning every few weeks only to be defeated again. Yuga refuses to listen and rushes forward with Raven, the red-haired tank, and together they attempt to trap Yoki with an attack from two sides. Yoki moves faster than they expect, blocks both strikes, and answers with a purple blast of magic that forces them back. Before they can steady themselves, he fires a second blast that slams them into the wall. Cecilia runs to heal Yuga and Raven, while Mikana stays behind to hold Yoki in place and buy time. Mikana releases a spell that Yoki blocks, but she follows it with a curved fire attack that explodes a moment later and catches him off guard. The explosion has little effect because his power is far beyond that of a normal general, and Mikana wonders how anyone can be this strong. Even so, her effort allows Cecilia's enough time to restore the two warriors so they can stand again. Yoki laughs and says nothing will change no matter how many times they challenge him. Yuga grips Excalibur, gathers all his energy into the blade, and charges for a final strike. But when the smoke clears, Yoki remains untouched and asks if they finally understand they cannot defeat him. Yuga steps back, yet refuses to give up, saying they must defeat the Demon King at any cost. To everyone's surprise, Yoki offers to let them pass to the throne room if they leave Cecilia behind. Yuga rejects the idea at once, but Makana argues that the life of one priestess cannot outweigh the lives of millions. Cecilia herself speaks and tells her companions to go on without her, and Yuga promises he will return for her as soon as the Demon King is defeated. The party moves through the gate, leaving Cecilia alone with Yoki. In the silent hall, Yoki feels awkward and asks how she is, but Cecilia remains tense and declares she will fight even if she has no chance of winning. She fires a spell that Yoki blocks, and he quickly tells her to calm down because he has no intention of harming her. Confused, she demands to know why he kept her behind. Yoki gathers his courage and admits he has liked her since the first day he saw her and wishes to go on a date with her. Cecilia is shocked and can only apologize, and Yoki understands the rejection. He sinks to the ground, saying there is no reason for him to live, while Cecilia wonders if this is another trick. She reminds him that demons are supposed to be heartless, yet Yoki answers that he is not truly a demon. He explains that he was once a human in another world and was reincarnated here as a demon under the Demon King's rule. The party could not defeat him because his power is far beyond anyone else, and he is only allowed to leave the castle to attack human villages, something he hates because he still feels human inside. Cecilia asks why he does not simply kill the Demon King and live freely, and Yoki replies that if he did, the demons would crown him as the next ruler, a fate he does not want. Cecilia then tells him to abandon the demon life and return to the human world to live normally, and her words awaken hope in his heart, so he decides to accept her suggestion. On that same day, the heroes' party defeats the Demon King, and the royal capital holds a grand celebration where Yuga and his companions are honored by the king. Yoki watches from outside the city, breaks off his horns to look more human, buys ordinary clothes, and heads to the Adventurers Guild to begin a new life. The guild hall is almost empty except for a tired receptionist named Seek, who complains about working during the holiday. Yoki asks to register as an adventurer, and Seek sighs but prepares the documents, hands him an adventurer card, and warns him not to lose it because replacing it is troublesome. Weeks pass as Yoki completes quest after quest and rises from F rank to D rank faster than anyone in memory, becoming the main topic of the guild. Seek questions how a newcomer can advance so quickly, but Yoki only smiles and submits more requests. One day Cecilia appears suddenly and asks to speak with him alone. She brings him to her home and urges him to leave the guild, explaining that, with the Demon King gone, nations are struggling for power and trying to recruit strong adventurers for their own armies. She fears that if Yoki continues to stand out, some country will attempt to control him, and his strength would be as dangerous as a living weapon. Yoki promises to act more quietly from now on. At that moment, Celia, Cecilia's mother, calls them inside and tells Yoki that many marriage proposals have arrived for her daughter, including one from Yuga, the hero. Yoki grows angry and complains loudly until Cecilia tells him to be quiet and says she has already rejected every offer. Hearing this, Yoki faces Celia and declares that although Cecilia refused him once, he will work hard as an adventurer, build a proper life, and ask for her hand again when he is worthy. Celia seems satisfied and leaves them alone. Yoki then says goodbye to Cecilia and returns to his small home, waiting for the day he can stand before her once more and ask for a different answer.